Hello, everyone, and welcome to Freeing Friday. I'm going to take the first few minutes to share my video out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to There I am. I'm live. I'm going to share into my group, of course. And if you were looking forward to this broadcast, sharing is caring. So today, I am going live to talk about anger. And you may have seen earlier this week where I actually put out a question, how do you know when you're angry? And that's, it generated an interesting conversation on Facebook and around. So I just wanted to, talk more about it and give some insight on what it is that anger brings us and the beautiful thing about anger. So, as you know, I have an upcoming event in London, and I'm super excited to be doing this with a really powerful coach in London called Aisha Ikram. And her focus and part of the event will be on mindset and spirituality. As you know, as human beings, we experience life with our bodies, our minds, our spirits, and our emotions. And my focus is always on using our emotions as a power source. I help female entrepreneurs so that they can stay replenished in their purpose and mission so that they can powerfully impact the world. Well, the interesting thing about that is when you are powerfully impacting the world, you experience and come across many people. And sometimes those people make us angry. And, anger can be a very explosive thing, or can be a very powerful thing that you can use to your advantage. So we're going to dive into what is anger and what happens before we get angry. And that's where the wisdom is, right? And then if our anger is unleashed, what to do in that case. And then we're going to try a technique during this live to help you when you're in that space of experiencing anger. So with that, I'm going to just get started by sharing what is anger. First of all, you have to recognize that our bodies are really built for bliss. We're not really built to experience negativity for any stretch of time. And our brains are divided into parts where we can experience the best of life, and then the fullness of life with our emotions, and then just the logic of how it all goes together. So as a life suit in our bodies, we're just vibrational fields of love. But anger itself is not actually a negative emotion, or there's nothing negative about anger. It's a very amazing phenomenon. And, we presence like actual passion and necessity all at the same time when we're angry. And if we use it the correct way, it can be a positive motivator. So, some of the responses I got when I asked, how do you know that you're angry? People were saying like their blood boils, they start thinking really bad thoughts, their face becomes flushed, their stomachs hurt. And pay attention to these body parts, right? The face, the stomach, the brain. Um, they they get, you know, um, they do things like raising their voices. They get really agitated. Some people get paralyzed. Some people feel tightness in their body, or their heart beats really fast. So these are different energy centers in the body, right? We have our heart, and some people said that their throat gets dry, right? I mentioned that when I was responding yesterday, that when I used to get really, really angry, my throat would like just dry up and I wouldn't be able to speak. And that's related to communicating what is really important. The stomach pain is related to that passion that I was telling you about, something again that you either really love or something you truly fear, right? And then the cerebral brain, where your thoughts change, right? And you start thinking dark thoughts. So that's what anger looks like. And like I said, in and of itself, it's not a negative emotion. It's not a negative experience. It's a very uncomfortable experience, clearly. But what's happening here is when our blood is boiling, let's dial it back for a minute. Before you get angry, before your blood starts to boil, what happened? Someone said something, someone did something. And the something that you heard, the something that you saw, caused a physical reaction in your body. And it started sending signals to your brain if you start having dark thoughts. And it gets categorized, right? Sometimes it feels like it's an offensive thing. So our ego feels attacked. Sometimes it could just be an oppressive thing, like maybe they're being mean to someone else. But in all cases, it's a response to something that someone else outside of you is doing. So if we dial it back for a minute, and here's the technique that I'm going to share with you today. If we dial it back for a minute, our bodies, right, can really take care of all emotions, but especially the extreme ones like anger, just by keeping ourselves balanced on a regular basis. That balance looks like um, 1/3 air, 1/3 water, 1/3 food. And when we're choosing our food, we choose wisely so that we have the food that's of the highest nutritional value. So before you get angry, this person's done something. Now, why do people do things, right? We get angry attached to, or we do things to offend people, or we act because we behave as a reflection of our own belief system, and sometimes a reflection of what we hate most about ourselves, what we dislike most about ourselves. And therefore, when we look out into the world, that's all we see is ugliness. And that's why you always hear me talking about self-compassion and self-forgiveness, because if we have enough self-compassion and enough self-forgiveness within ourselves, then we are less offensive to other people. And before we start getting angry with people, we'll understand from a place of compassion that this person is really, really suffering. And you don't want to join them in their vibrational field of suffering. So that's what's happening. They're vibrating out, they're suffering, and we have a choice in that moment to accept it or to reject it. Okay, so let's say we didn't do that. If you don't do that, once you let your anger flow, once you're experiencing, the teardrops, the tremble and all those things, right? And your heart's beating. Let's revisit what I was talking about, the 1/3 air. So right now, if you're sitting down, stand up. And if you're standing up, sit down. And what we're going to do is a breathing technique. Okay. So I want you to inhale very deeply so that it expands your chest and your stomach. And you should visibly see it expanding and getting full. So, and then we're going to exhale. When you exhale, just make sure like you're pulling that air all the way back to your spine. Right? And inhale again. Now, when you're doing this breathing, you may experience a couple of things. You'll feel your body calming down, right? You'll feel your blood flow better. So if your blood is boiling, it will cool. If your body's hot, again, it will cool. And if you weren't able to think, or if you were feeling paralyzed, now you should have some sense of flow going through your body again. So I know it doesn't seem to make sense that in the moment, you're feeling the physicality of being angry, that your physiology has now changed. So in order to act wisely in the moment, number one, recognize that you don't want to share that vibrational field of suffering with that person. And you want to try and transform that into compassion, first for yourself, because you don't want to, make yourself sick. And secondly, for that person, because obviously they're suffering and that's what's causing them to be so, unkind. And then third of all, if it's difficult for you to communicate in that moment, then use this breathing technique. And this will help you because anger has the purpose of helping us to be courageous when we are the ones who are training our anger. I had mentioned that I used to get really angry, and I learned to train my anger in this way. And no, I didn't get there overnight. It did take several years. But little by little, if we try a little bit every day, if you look at yourself and your day, sometimes you get angry with yourself. And if you're in the habit of getting angry with yourself, it's not a leap to get angry with other people. But if you're in the habit of having self-compassion, right, and self-forgiveness, then it's a lot easier to step away from that negative vibrational field, breathe into what your body needs in the moment, and then stand courageously and with wisdom, use your anger to its full advantage by saying what needs to be said in the moment. And that will bring you back to center and the situation to neutral. And that is what I'm going to share with you today. I will dive so much deeper on Sunday. As I told you, I am doing an amazing event with this lovely lady called Aisha Ikram in London. Our event is October 19th, and you can get more details if you go to my website, which is cordeliagaffar.com. And this is just a sample of what my body awareness portion will look like when we meet in London for this full day training. Now, we're calling the event Aisha and Cordelia Live, Resilience and Transformation to Replenish You. Because at the end of the day, if we walk around with our blood boiling and all the physical things that stay in our body when we're angry, we can make ourselves sick over time. And anger can build itself up into resentment. And when it builds up to resentment, we've talked about this before, that it will lodge in our joints. And so, people, hello, Wanda, how are you? People have actually studied what happens, the effects of resentment in the body. And the effects are that you get arthritis. That's one of the smaller effects. If you are someone who experiences anger in your heart area and you're not in the habit of communicating, it can develop into breast cancer. And that there was a study done in Germany on that. But like I said, Aisha and I go live on Sundays, and we will dive, both of us, deeper into our respective topics. I believe this week she may be covering on spirituality, and I invite you to listen to her because she'll have her solo live tomorrow. Well, she'll give you a sampling of what she has to offer. So why did we come up with this event? The whole purpose of this event is so that female entrepreneurs and professionals can use their emotions as a power source and use resilience to make energy-rich choices in life and in business, so that we are actually making a powerful impact in the world, and not killing ourselves in the process and damaging our relationships, whether they're personal or professional. So again, thank you for being here live. Sharing is caring. So share this out to other people. If you are watching this on the replay, put #replay. And even if you don't live in London, we invite you to come from wherever you are in the world, October 19th, to join us. You can get more details at my website, which is cordeliagaffar.com. And if you scroll down, you'll see below our video more details of what's to come. Again, thank you so much for being here. And I'm just going to check and see if there's any questions. Yes, because I was experiencing breast pain when I was angry in my heart. And Wanda is one of my clients or former clients, and she actually is a breast cancer survivor. And we worked together after, she had overcome breast cancer and so many things. She's such a strong woman. So connect with Wanda. I recommend that you learn more about her story also. And thank you, Wanda, for being here. I greatly appreciate that. So thank you, everyone, like I said, who was here live, and more to come. We'll be going live together on Sunday, but Aisha will again be going live around this time tomorrow. Thank you so much, and don't get angry.